Drawing on her experience as a wife and mom of 4, my next guest shares meaningful tips and impactful conversations through her podcast, A Woman Like You, on iHeartRadio. Everyone, please welcome Jennifer Reid to the show. Hello, Jennifer. Oh my gosh. First off, huge congratulations on this podcast. It is so amazing.
Thanks.
Outside of the podcast, though, you are a mom of 4.
I am.
And
yes.
you have those 4 children with your husband, Johnny Reid.
I do.
Who is, we know, from celebrated country star, just absolutely amazing.
Yes.
And you've been married for 23 years.
It'll be 24 in October.
Wow, 24. What day in October?
October 14th.
Oh my gosh, I'm the 16th. Oh, no, that's a lie. That's my husband's birthday. I'm the 1st. Oh, I got my anniversary wrong.
Okay.
I'm in trouble.
That's okay. Close enough.
So what's your secret?
You know, it's funny. I think everybody always asks that question, and you know, people say, "Oh, we're a good teammate. We're good this. We're good this." And recently, I kind of had a thought, and it always stemmed, of course, from the podcast.
Yeah.
I think one thing I realized that we have done is, you know, you hear this word manifestation a lot these days. People throw it around, but I feel like we have been manifesting our relationship from the beginning of time.
Yeah.
And meaning, like, we always talked about future things like kids, where we wanted to live, even up till now, like where we want to retire. We talk about our grandkids.
Yeah.
And a friend of mine recently got divorced, and she said to me, you know, we never spoke about our future.
Yeah.
We never talked about what we were going to do in a year from now or when the kids left. And she said, we just never had anything to look forward to. And when she said that, it really kind of struck me as, I think, unconsciously, we've kind of been doing that.
Yeah.
Which I think that when things get hard, it kind of makes it easier if you're like, yeah, but what about our plan?
Yeah.
To kind of work through. So I don't know.
That was beautiful. And that's the thing with your podcast, you get into these really kind of tough, complicated questions and issues that impact daily women's lives.
Yep.
So what kind of inspired you to start this podcast?
I love to talk, first of all. I love to have conversations.
Yeah.
And, you know, I have this Instagram life and style that I do, and I do my stories every day. And I was realizing that things I was talking about in my life that I would normally talk about with my girlfriends, and I was bringing to Instagram, and the amount of women who would message me and say, like, they had more questions, or they would say, well, I don't have anybody to ask, or thank you for sharing this because I don't have a group of friends I can talk to. And I just thought, there was a much bigger conversation that was not being represented for like my age group on social media.
Totally.
So, yeah.
That's amazing. You saw a need and you saw a community of people who just needed help.
Yeah.
And in your podcast, you talk to so many different people. You talk about relationships, health, parenting, aging, friendships, heartache, even things as difficult and kind of common as infertility and things like this. What is something that you've learned that you weren't expecting? Something that kind of was a aha moment for you?
I think probably just the power of like how my guests have been so vulnerable.
Yeah.
And some of the guests that have been on are used to being on TV, they're used to being in front of the camera. Some have never been in front of a camera. So they kind of sit, you know, I have to beg them to come on and tell their stories. And they kind of sit down and are so nervous. And halfway through, it's like they've been doing this for years.
Yeah.
And so I just think like, I've been so surprised at how vulnerable people have been.
Yeah.
And then in the response to their vulnerability, the amount of people who will message me and say like, she just told my story.
Yeah.
Like, I thought I was the only person. And so I think like I've really learned how if you can be so vulnerable, how helpful it is to other people.
Yeah.
We're all just trying to act like we have no problems in the world and our life is great, and it just doesn't really do any good for anybody.
No, I agree. And you even get personal about things on your podcast. You talk about your journey through perimenopause, menopause, everything like that. Like as women, as we age, things change. Yeah. Is that scary, opening up in that way, like yourself, not just kind of having people?
In the beginning, it wasn't because I really didn't think it was going to be a big deal. I kind of thought I was just going to say it one day, and it blew up with the amount of women that were like, wait, you're going where? You heard what? Like, what are you doing to treat this? I went to my doctor and she said, women are now living a third of their lives after menopause. Like, we can't just have it all go downhill.
Yeah.
And I felt like, you know, I just turned 50 in March, and it felt like for so long, 50 always seemed so old to me. Like it kind of just seemed like you were gonna turn 50 and, you know, it was just going downhill from there. And the closer I got to 50, I was like, wait a minute, like I still have a lot of life to live. And I don't want to have that narrative that I've had in my head. And so sharing with people and just realizing people were desperate for that information. So we did have a podcast on, you know, perimenopause, menopause, and HRT, and my goal of that was not for her to come on and say, you need to do this, you need to do this. It was to kind of give you all of your options. And I think the biggest takeaway was that women were like, okay, I'm not crazy.
Yes.
I'm not losing my mind.
Yes.
It's not me. My husband's not going to leave me. My kids are never coming over for dinner because mom's crazy. And just like the amount of women, and you can hear people right now, they're like, yes, that's me.
Yeah, that's absolutely amazing. Jennifer, thank you so much for joining us. Huge congratulations on the podcast. New episodes of Jennifer's podcast, A Woman Like You, are released Wednesdays on iHeartRadio.ca and the iHeartRadio Canada app. That is our show for today, everyone. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you tomorrow for more of the good stuff. Jennifer, that was amazing. That was so popular. Hey, Mary here. What did you think? Drop your comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more of the good stuff.